This is Ms. Calhoun. I'm an online instructor for Columbia College. This is for Math 106. We use the Introductory Algebra for College Students, 5th edition, by Blitzer, published by Pearson, Prentice & Hall. And we're going to look at Chapter 5, Section 2, Solving Systems of Linear Equations by the Substitution Method. Okay. Now, if we're doing solving systems of equations, we're looking at two equations, and we're trying to figure out where do they intersect. And one method to do this is the substitution method. There's actually several ways to solve a system of equations. This is just one of them. You can do graphing, which I believe is actually mentioned in the first section. We're going to do substitution method. So we're going to look at it. In our little box, Mr. Blitzer writes, solving linear systems by substitution. First, solve either equation for one variable in terms of the other. Then substitute that back into the other equation. Not the one you just used, but the other one, which will then give you one equation with either all of your first variable or all of the second variable, depending on which one you solve for. And in our first little example, we have y equals negative x minus 1 and 4x minus 3y equals 24. Now, some books put the big parentheses around them. Some of them just put one big fancy bracket in the front, and some of them don't do either one. So we need to pick which equation we would like to work with. Now this one already has the first system right here. The first equation already says y equals. So we're just going to put that in for the y that's right here in this little equation. So we will then have 4x minus 3 times what we're going to substitute in for y, which is negative x minus 1, and that's equal to 24. And now you'll see that you have one big equation, but it only has one letter. It has x's. Now we do need to go ahead and multiply through our parentheses by the negative 3, just like we're used to. So we have 4x. Now negative 3 times a negative x is a positive 3x. And again, a negative 3 times a negative 1 is a positive 3. Equals 24. And now we're going to add up our like terms that we have right here. And we have 7x plus 3 equals 24. Now, we do need to solve for x. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. Those will cancel. And 7x is going to equal 21. And now all we have to do is figure out what's x. 7 times what's 21. So we divide both sides by 7. And our first answer is x equals 3. There's our first answer. Now we're just going to put a little box around it so I can go find it later when I have to write my final answer. Because you have your first answer. So you've done the first couple of steps in the method. We took one equation, it was solved. We plugged it into our second equation. Here it is over here. And we all had just one letter. We got the first little answer. Now you do need to go find your second answer. We need to know what does y equals. Well, y equals negative x minus 1. But we know what x is. So y is going to equal a negative 3 minus 1, or y equals negative 4. So there's our answer for y. Now we do need to write our final answer, which is 3 comma negative 4. there is the answer to our problem. There's where those two lines actually intersect. And do you remember your answer's alphabetical? It's X and then Y. Always alphabetical, X and then Y. So there's our first problem doing the substitution method. Now they did help us in that they already had most of it worked for us because it already said Y equals. So we're now going to go look at a second example in which we actually get to do more of the work.